Good afternoon. President Clinton and I just met with the staffs of the C40 Climate Group and the Clinton Climate Initiative, two organizations that stand shoulder to shoulder in the worldwide struggle to combat climate change. And today, I think it's safe to say we reached a defining moment for their work. President Clinton and I are happy to announce that after years of a close, productive working relationship, these two organizations will effectively become one under a unified central management structure. This organization, the product of months of work, is going to be highly beneficial, we think, for a couple of reasons. First, it is going to streamline and enhance the work of two fantastic organizations who share a common mission in mobilizing cities to confront climate change, and what a critical mission that is, because it's clear that cities are on the forefront of both causes and effect of climate change, and that's only going to increase as the world's population becomes more urban. And second, this reorganization formally clarifies and strengthens the relationship between these two international organizations. This kind of unified, targeted effort is exactly what C40's participating cities have told us they want, and President Clinton and I believe this new integrated structure will retain and enhance the strengths of each of its component parts, helping make this the preeminent climate action organization in the world. Now, last November, you may remember, I was proud to assume the chairmanship of the C40 group for the next 2 years. It's a role that I've taken on with the utmost enthusiasm and dedication because climate change is an urgent challenge, and the world's cities have a powerful responsibility to address that, and that includes New York City. New York City, 8.4 million people, 18-odd million people in the metropolitan area. We have exactly the same kinds of interest in clean air and clean water and reducing congestion that you find every place else. The cities consume 75% of the world's energy and produce 80% of its greenhouse gases. Here in New York City, our blueprint, or perhaps I should call it our green print, for making the city more sustainable, as you well know, is called PlaNYC. In the 4 years since we developed the plan, we've launched more than 97% of its initiatives, and next week we are going to release our annual update to PlaNYC. And in advance of next week's release, today I want to announce that some progress has been made in meeting one of PlaNYC's central goals, and that is giving New York City the best air quality of any major city in the nation by the year 2030. In 2009, we closed sections of Broadway to traffic, creating exciting pedestrian plazas right in the heart of our city. We made these improvements to straighten out some of the choke points in our street grid and to help traffic flow more smoothly and quickly through Midtown. But we also expected that by reducing the number of vehicles in and around Times Square, we would improve the air quality in that area. And now we have the numbers showing that this is exactly what has happened. The statistics come from the New York City Community Air Survey, a PlaNYC initiative, and the most in-depth survey of its kind. Using more than 150 monitors placed around the city, we've been collecting air samples at ground level to measure the air that New Yorkers breathe while walking on our streets. And I'm happy to say the survey's first results were released at the end of '09. The data showed then that concentrations in Times Square of two pollutants from vehicle exhaust, nitrogen dioxide and nitrogen monoxide, then ranked among the highest in the city, but that was before we closed the streets. And just to reiterate, we can take a look now at the same places. The most recent report, which looked at data from after the street closures, found that the concentrations of nitrogen dioxide in Times Square have dropped 41%, while nitrogen monoxide levels have decreased by 63%. In fact, the air quality improved slightly throughout Midtown, but really significantly in Times Square that we've been able to where we've been able to reduce the number of vehicles. And that cleaner air, of course, makes a huge difference to the health of more than 250,000 pedestrians who pass through Times Square every day. Let me also point out that in Times Square and Herald Square, the number of traffic fatalities has dropped almost to zero, and it used to be one of the most dangerous streets in our city. The sidewalks just could not accommodate the crowds. People walked in the streets, and we had too many fatalities and injuries. That has been helped. And commerce in the area, as measured by retail rents, has just gone up dramatically. Now, I've always believed in the power of data. You can't truly manage a problem until you first measure it, and that's true in business and it's true in government. And only by rigorously maintaining, measuring, and analyzing our efforts can we learn what works and what doesn't and why, and then take more effective action. And that's why the use of data has been such an important part of PlaNYC, and it's why going forward we plan to make the C40 Climate Group nothing less than the most authoritative source of information and analysis on all the climate change actions taking place in the world's great cities. On that note, let me introduce to you somebody who really does care about our environment. He is somebody who is relentless, always looks at the positive side, has taken on some causes, and not just giving his name. This is the guy that does the work. I think it's fair to say that few people have been more helpful and more active in combating climate change than Bill Clinton.
So I set up this climate change initiative for a very specific reason, to try to find examples where you could reduce greenhouse gas emissions and improve the economy. We've got 171 public buildings being retrofitted in Houston now. Massive work being done in Australian cities and other cities around the world on big building retrofits. We have major attempts to stop the methane emissions from landfills in Lagos, Nigeria, and Mexico City, two of the world's biggest cities. One of my goals before I die is to see every landfill in every big city in the world closed, like the one that's in the opening scene of Slumdog Millionaire, where the kids run across the landfill. I see money there. You can take out all the glass and metal and plastic, and then with what's left, you can recapture the methane and burn it cleanly, or you can compact it and burn it directly as a fuel for electricity, or you can make small briquettes which can replace charcoal and stop black carbon going into the atmosphere. So we worked on those things. We did a lot of the technical work to put up the 140,000 new LED streetlights in LA. It's the biggest project of its kind ever undertaken. Just the streetlights will save the city $10 million a year in electric bills and maintenance costs. What we want to do is to, by merging our efforts here, is to hammer home the way you can change the way you consume and produce energy in cities in a way that is good economics and that solves some of these things, so there'll be something going on in all 40 cities and we can take other cities in. I am elated by this. I think, we really have a chance here to make a difference because we're going to merge our efforts and do it in a sustained way, in a way that should reach and benefit all the cities that are part of the C40 and any others that want to merge with us. And again, I will say, I think this is one of the great challenges facing the world today. If we can prove this is good economics, work out the upfront financing, you're going to see a staggering amount of good. Just go down to the Empire State Building, which will be the oldest LEED certified building, big building in the world. Built in 1931. Look, they had a whole floor cleared out to be a factory. They cut all the glass there. They did all the work there. Hundreds of jobs were created. And they're going to reduce their utilities usage and their bills by a guaranteed 38%. If that's all they save, I think they'll save more since they got a guarantee from their energy service contractor. They will pay all the bills off in 4.5 years, after which the Empire State Building will have a lower utility cost of somewhere between 38 and 40%. It'll be an enormous economic boom, not only to the city and to the building and its tenants, but to the city as well. This is the kind of thing we can do everywhere. We can do it with landfills. We can do it with public transportation. And like I said, there are a lot of good things going on, but because Mayor Bloomberg's taking over the leadership of the C40 and because of the way we've agreed to work together and put our operations together, I think you're going to see a much more rapid dissemination of the best ideas and a much more rapid drop in greenhouse gas emissions and increase in jobs in big cities in the United States and throughout the world.